What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Point2Point NHL Recap Show, Season 2, Episode 28. I'm Pascal Pryor, joined by Mark Havlick. Today, we're going to be talking about the Conference Finals. The Eastern one, it just started up last night. The West, it's going to be starting up tonight. So over the next week and a half, we're going to be pretty busy with these two matchups in the NHL. It should be a ton of fun. But before we get into all of that, Mark, how are you doing, dude?
Dude, not too bad. I got my I was at my cottage last week and got my first round of golf in on Sunday. Fuck, dude, it was kind of cold out there. I wish for the first 5 holes I had 2 gloves on, but it got a little bit nicer out, dude. I was kind of shocked. I shot 95 the first round. I don't know about you. That's pretty good for me. For the most part, I'm not a great golfer, but I can hit the ball. But do you find sometimes when you go out the first time of the year, it's almost not your peak, but it's you play well, and then it's almost oh fuck, I had a good round. It's going to be a good year, But then you're it's the inconsistency of golf, right? You just kind of fuck up through. Do you ever have that, or do you kind of fuck up your first rounds of the year?
Oh man, I'm completely opposite, dude. I completely fuck up my first rounds of the year. I've been out twice so far this year. I did go golfing last weekend as well. I went on Saturday when it was pouring rain and stuff, but I haven't broken 100 yet this year, which is really pissing me off because last year I was consistently breaking 100, and then the last time I went golfing last year, I shot a 91. So I was 2 strokes away from breaking 90, right? So I'm like, okay, this year my goal is to break. This year my goal is to break 90. That's what I want to do at least a couple times, break 90, right? I go out the first 2 times this year, and I think I shot a 110 the first time of the year, and then on Saturday I shot a 102. So I already cut 8 strokes off my game over.
You're getting better. You're getting
playing
better
twice, but for me, yeah, I'm the complete opposite, man. It's first couple times of the year, I'm just fucking awful, can't figure it out, and then I slowly start to get back into my swing. Because last year my driver was pretty good, and my wedges were all right at points. Where this year's been completely opposite. This year I can't drive the ball for shits, but I only shot 102 on Saturday because my wedges were just fucking saving me, right? So it's if I could figure out my driving, get back to where I was driving at last year, I'd be back in the 90s, I think.
It's all about the short game, dude. Everyone's always yeah, you're driving. It's dude, but you don't necessarily drive every single hole, right? But you're basically chipping and putting every single hole. My putting was on point. I think that's what kind of saved me. I'm usually not like that, but dude, I think I bogeyed 6 straight holes, which is not bad for someone like me, to be honest. But there was probably 4 of them where I was fuck, I gotta make this to save bogey, and it was kind of more of a 15-footer, maybe 10 feet, kind of out of that range where it's close, but it's not too far. And I was nailing them. So I think that's what kind of made my round better. But honestly, dude, I think it's just downhill from here, but we'll see.
Well, we'll have to get out at some point this year. I don't think I've been golfing with you yet. So we'll have to get out, have a little friendly wager maybe for next NHL season. Let's get into the conference playoffs. So we'll start out with the East. For the second straight year, the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes are matched up in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Panthers took a 1-0 series lead last night with a 5-2 win over the Hurricanes. Mark, I want to ask you one thing before we sort of talk about the overall game and the series. That Sebastian Aho goal, what are your thoughts on that? Is that a good goal, or do you think that should have been overturned?
See, I was talking to a buddy about this yesterday, and he was like, dude, I don't know how this counts. I think it's a kick. I more saw it as a redirection kind of thing. Do you not feel that he kind of moved his foot before the puck hit it? Because realistically, if you were kind of comparing to another situation when someone deflects it in, it's some guys go to the net and they stop, but when they're stopping, their momentum's carrying forward, and they're sort of guiding the puck in. I don't know if does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really look at Aho's goal and was he kicked that. But I mean, I think he completely redirected it to put it on net. But the thing is, it's I think the whole kicking part of the rule is very vague, to be honest with you.
Vague.
So I don't know. Do you agree with me? Or no? Do you think it was a kick?
I completely agree with you, dude. I don't think it was a kick. Let's be real. It's very obvious.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing. Yeah.
It's very obvious that he knew what he was doing. He was sort of changing. He was using his foot to change the outcome of where the puck was going to go. That was very obvious. But I think, honestly, what it comes down to is the fact that the rules are so vague and so wish-washy, right? It's you can't kick it, but you can use your foot to redirect the puck. it's like, is that not pretty much the same thing? What's the
I think
difference
so.
between that?
I think the ruling now just kind of what's the right word? You're kind of just expecting to have conversations like we're having all the time
Yeah,
with this rule because it's not like 100%. I want to say like I don't want to say it's not 100% clear, but I think it's just like it's kind of a thing where someone could have a completely different opinion of like, dude, he completely kicked that in, like, you know what I mean? Even though he's just kind of guiding with his foot, and like I just think he did most of the movement with his foot before the puck touched it, which kind of takes it away from me. Okay, hear me out about this. I was talking to my buddy about
okay.
this yesterday. New NHL rules with this, so to get rid of this shit, anything counts unless it hits your hands.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, man.
I think
I'd
if you
say
can header
elbow
the
down.
puck in the net, if you could header the puck into the net, I think you deserve to score. That's
Yeah,
like the thing is, it's like why don't you just make it like soccer, like hands or arms down? Doesn't matter if you tried to or not. It's no goal. But
yep,
I think the reason why they don't want to bring the kick in is like my buddy was like, I don't think they want someone skating in from the blue line and he goes and kicks the puck in. It's like, well, the stick is going to be used 99% of
yeah,
the time anyway. The only time someone's going to try to kick it is if they legit don't have a stick, right?
yep.
And the thing is, it's like, it's not like kicking the puck is some magical thing that makes the puck go like 3 times faster or something. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's my opinion. I kind of understand the safety of like, they don't want the like blades flying in the air. But do you also think at the same time, if next year they were like, all right, you know what? You can kick the puck in. It doesn't really matter. Like, would you really see that much more kicking? Like, you might see a little bit more considering it's going to be a legal rule, but it's like guys are going to try and use their sticks, dude.
I
Like,
think
it's
the
not like people are going to try and use their feet all the time.
I think the only area it would kind of change the game would be on rebounds, where it's like when it's like a 2-on-1 and you're shooting far pad on the goalie and there's kind of a weird rebound that comes out pretty quick. I think that's the only area where you might see a bit of a change because it is hard to get your stick on the puck a lot of the times there getting those rebounds, and we already see it where guys are trying to sort of do that stopping motion and catch the puck with some part of their body, right? I think there you would see it where guys are maybe going a bit more all out, not all out, but maybe going a bit more out of their way to get a piece of the puck with their foot. But man, I'm all for it, dude. Like, it's part of the. You can kick the puck in any scenario in the
That's
NHL.
what I
You
mean,
just
dude.
can't kick it into the goal. So it's like,
And it's like if they're worried about a scrum in front of the net and say like, I don't know, say like fucking Aho's stick is caught in like Mikola and all he's got is his feet. It's like, dude, if you don't want him to kick the puck in the net, like if the puck is below him, he's gonna try and kick the puck to someone else anyway. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like just because it's not on the net doesn't mean like that they're not gonna try and do it. I don't know. I just think realistically it would kind of be a lot more clear on like if it's a goal or not right away kind of thing. And if you were like, all right, you know what, elbows to hands, if it touches it at all and goes in, it's no goal. I don't give a shit if it's a shot from the point and it hits his forearm and goes in, it's not a fucking goal. Like make it like soccer, like, you know what I mean, in the sense of like you'll actually understand and know the rule. Like now it's just like there's no kicking, or like if you try to guide it with like your kneecap, it's fucking in. Like I don't give a shit, dude, if the guy
yeah,
scores with his kneecap. Like realistically, like the fastest and hardest way someone's gonna shoot is with a stick. So it's not like
yep.
it's some advantage if someone is headering the puck or kneeing it or kicking it. In my opinion, at least.
Dude, I'm all with you on this, and honestly, I'd be interested to see if maybe this like does get some sort of discussion within the next couple of years at GM meetings amongst owners, because I wonder if some of them are looking at this, and especially over the playoffs, where I feel like over the last week we've had the one with Dallas and Hellebuck,
Yeah,
right? You've had that
Petrovic.
one.
Yeah.
You had the Seth Jones one in Game 7 against the Leafs, and then you've had this one now. So even over the past 3 weeks, there's been a couple goals here that have sort of generated a bit of discussion on the ruling, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if the NHL maybe wants to take a look at something like this or tweak the rules, do something to change it up a bit over the next few years. Now that we've got that Aho goal sort of out of the way, Mark, what were your thoughts on the game last night?
I can't lie to you, dude. It was kind of exactly how I thought it was going to go. I thought that um, Carolina's layoff may affect them a little bit, kind of coming out a bit hard. and the Panthers are kind of in this rhythm right now of playing every second night. I mean, going back to the Toronto series now, like they've won 5 of their last 6 games here, right? Like they're really getting in a rhythm here. I think the one thing, and I kind of thought that was going to happen, despite that he's been really good this playoffs, is I don't know what it is about Florida. They get to Freddie Anderson. They've kind of done it in the past too. I think that they kind of got Carolina off their game a bit by doing their forecheck that they always do. Like the thing is, it's like Carolina is really good at this man-to-man defense, right? Like they play the specific style that it's like, if you want to be on this team, you have to play this type of style. But the thing is, it's like when you're going against a team who's kind of hard forecheck, like Florida, like would you say almost like at least the offensive part, like they try to play similar almost with like getting the puck in and dumping. Like I know the defensive part of the game is completely different with the man on man and stuff, but like I feel like with just kind of going and getting the puck and stuff like that, it's kind of a way to get Carolina off their game. It's almost like giving them a taste of their own medicine. And that's why I just kind of think that Florida set up really well in this series, just like they were a couple of years ago. I thought at the end of the day, Florida was the better team. They got better goaltending, and I'm not really surprised of the result yesterday. It felt like Florida had control of the game for the most part, even with Carolina bringing it to within 1 at the end of the first. They're able to get that goal in the second, 3-1. They had a pretty comfortable lead the whole time. I feel like I felt like ever since the first couple of minutes of the game, there was really no doubt that Florida was going to lose unless they kind of just took their foot off the gas.
Yeah, I think what we saw with Florida last night and what we sort of have seen with Florida over the past couple of years is this is a team that is very good game managers, right? Like even if they're not going out and they're up 2-0 after the first period, like every shift they go out, they're doing something that's going to benefit them in the long run, right? Like you saw that a lot within the Leaf series. Like if they're not scoring early on, like man, they're getting their chances. They're wearing down Toronto's D. They're holding the puck in the zone. They're making Toronto run around their own zone, right? Like they're really wearing them down. And you saw it again last night, right? Like even that first period, which was a bit closer, like every shift that Florida's going out, they're doing something that's going to benefit them throughout that game and throughout the entire series. I think you mentioned Freddie. See, I think Freddie, I don't think he had a bad game last night, but I don't think he had a great game last night. I think a couple of those Florida goals, like there wasn't too much that you could do on them. The one where it's a 2-on-1 with Mikkel and he slides it over, like he's got to go post to post there. There's not much he can do there. The first goal on Verhaeghe, I think that might have been the weakest goal he let in. Again, though, it is a bit hard, though, because Verhaeghe's in the slot wide open on the power play, right? So it's like, it's a 1v1 there. It is a backhand from Verhaeghe that kind of beats him short side between the kind of head and the post. Like, it is a perfectly placed shot. It is a hard one to save, but I think that maybe is the only goal where you can say, like, I would have liked to see Freddie have that. Again, though, the thing I thought Florida was doing very good last night, and you saw it on the Sam Bennett goal, was they were getting traffic in front of them, man. Like they were getting a lot of traffic between the puck and Freddie. They weren't giving him an easy time to see the puck. Like that is the one thing where I look at what Carolina was doing last night, and I want them to sort of change it up going forward in this series. I think Carolina, they were trying to get a bit too fancy at times to beat Bob. Like they were trying to maybe do a bit too much tic-tac-toe where it's like, man, if Bob sees the puck, he's probably going to make the save. Get some fucking traffic between the puck and Bob and get a greasy goal. Get a goal like that Sam Bennett one where you just throw it on net from the point and he doesn't know where the puck's going, right? Like I saw a lot of shots from the point last night for Carolina where there was absolutely no traffic in front of Bob. You got to change that up if you're Carolina. You're not going to win this series, and you're not going to beat Bob if he's able to see the puck and have clean saves. Mark?
I think that's fair, dude. I think that's fair. And I think I'm not blaming Freddie at all. It definitely wasn't up to par of what he's been in this playoffs. And I just think at the end of the day, when you're looking down the ice and you're looking at Sergei Bobrovsky, sometimes there's going to have to be those goals that aren't necessarily your fault. that you kind of might have to make the save. You know what I mean? If you want to win, because Bob's going to be doing the same thing down the ice.
Yeah, and Bob did have a pretty good game last night. Like there was a couple short uneven breaks there, and Bob came up. He made the saves. He did look good last night.
Bob's been phenomenal recently, dude. Since like halfway through game 3, he's been basically lights out. The only thing with him is he seems like his 5-hole is just not good right now. He's been letting in these squeakers. And to be fair, too, Freddie's actually very known to be pretty weak in his 5-hole, too. So I wonder if Carolina starts targeting that a little bit more, because you saw like Domi game 7, 5-hole, Matthews game 6, 5-hole, like even that Aho tip 5-hole. Yeah, that's a bit different with the tip, right? In the skate redirection. But I don't think it's something that I think it might be something that they can catch on to here. You know what I mean? Like if you find a weakness in a goalie like that, you got to try and exploit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Looking forward at the rest of the series here. How do you kind of think it's going to play out, and what's your series prediction?
I can't lie to you, dude. I see a lot of what happened in game 1 with like the suffocating. I feel like Florida, as much as Carolina couldn't or didn't get bodies to the net, I think Florida does a good job at boxing guys out and letting Bobrovsky see stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing I felt was super odd yesterday, though, like Bob was kind of bumped a bunch, eh? I know you didn't watch the full game,
Yeah, it
but
was.
he was bumped about 3 to 4 times. One of them was in the head. Florida was sticking up for him, but I mean, I guess I didn't see the same intensity as I thought I would in accordance to sticking up for him. I think if you're Carolina and you want to have success, to be honest with you got to keep doing the same shit with trying to go to the net, get in Bob's face, get in his grill, just get him rattled. Like he got to a point yesterday where he pulled the ref aside and he was starting to talk to him about what was going on. Like, dude, did you see it all in that Toronto series? I know they didn't go to the net the same and shit, but like when do you ever see Bob like pull the ref aside and kind of be like flipping out because like he's getting attacked a bit too much, right? Like he's a super calm goalie. He doesn't really seem like a lot phases him, to be honest. Like even when he lets in bad goals, he's kind of just like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing. Like you, as much as it seems like, oh, he might not care. It's like, no, dude, he's just worried about the next shot. He doesn't want to have to dwell over the last one. And then he's going to let in another squeaker. You know what I mean? It's just going to be kind of repetitiveness, but I think Carolina's got to keep shooting, keep getting to the net. They got to somehow get in within the inside of this Florida team, and they're going to have to stay out of the box and kind of manage like Florida's forecheck in the zone, right? Because the thing is with Carolina is they've been a really good team throughout these playoffs, but dude, I would argue right now that this isn't even close to the competition that they had earlier in the playoffs. Like this is on a completely other level. I know Washington's a good team, but they didn't play them like they were a really good team at all. Like, dude, did you see? I'm pretty sure in 5 games, Washington didn't even have 100 shots on net in the whole series. They were averaging under 20 shots a game, right? Like, they're not really coming at them strong. I think Florida is just a complete new beast for Carolina right now. Just coming off of New Jersey, kind of dominating them. They basically dominated most of that Cap series too, right? It just seems like they had everything under control. Now they don't. I'm telling you right now, dude, if they want to win this series, is it crazy to say that I actually think Game 2 is a must-win game?
Not at all. It's at home. Like that's the other thing too that you gotta consider. It's like, dude, if you're Carolina, pardon me, and you do lose Game 2, you just lost Game 1 and 2 at home, and now you got to go back to Florida. So you got to steal 2 on the road. Like that's nearly impossible to do against Florida, right? They're gonna not miss out on their opportunities. So I don't think it's crazy at all to say that Game 2 is a must win for Carolina, because if you don't win that, it's gonna be if you don't win that, I think the best case scenario, you're coming back home for Game 5 down 3-1, right?
Yeah, and that's also not a situation you want to be in. Like, as much as Carolina's been a good, consistent playoff team, someone can say if I'm wrong, but I don't know about if any of these runs in the past they've really came back from being down in a series and won. I think most of these series wins they've had, they've either been kind of tied or mostly in complete control of the series for the most part. Like
Yeah.
I don't really remember at the top of my head a series where they were down 3-1 or even down 2-0 or something, and they came back and won. But someone could tell me if I'm wrong. But I mean, it's not going to be a good situation to be in. Honestly, dude, like as much as it's a realistic thing, like I don't even think going there 1-1 is great. Like I think it would have been more ideal if they were able to win both at home, like the Leafs did,
Yeah.
right? And then try to kind of manage the series that way. I just think that Florida going home is going to be really scary, dude, in my opinion. And to be honest with you, I'm not very. I love Carolina. I love what they're building. I just don't think they're the same team as Florida. I don't think they're on the same level. I think that you could look basically at every position. I would maybe give Carolina a slight edge on defense. I
See, I
don't
would
think it's
not.
very big. If it is, I don't think it's very big. You don't agree?
No, not even. I don't even think it's close, to be honest. I know you're not. I know you're not a
Really?
fan. I know you're not a fan of a couple of these guys on Florida's um uh decor. Like, I know you're not a big Ekblad guy. You're not a big Ekblad guy, right?
I can't lie to you, dude. Him and Jones have been pretty good recently, though.
They've been phenomenal. They've been phenomenal, dude. Game 7 against Toronto might have been the greatest hockey game I've ever seen Seth Jones play, and
Oh no, I agree, dude. I
that's
agree.
including the 6 overtime game that he played where he played however fucking many minutes. Because that game he didn't, he just logged a bunch of ice time. That game against the Leafs for Seth Jones, I think he looked phenomenal, man. He was stepping up into the play at the right times. I think he's been doing a lot of that throughout the playoffs here. That's the thing that for me I think is making Florida so great is that when they are in the offensive zone, it really is a 5-man unit going to work. Like you're seeing the defenseman pitch, step up. You can really tell that they have a lot of trust in Bob because how many breakaways or how many 2-on-1s have we seen Florida give up over the past 5 games? Like it's been a decent amount. And Bob's been able to come up and make those big saves. But the reason you're seeing it is because these Florida defensemen are so comfortable being able to pinch, being able to give an opportunity of a second life in the offensive zone, right? I think Florida's defensemen have been very, very good so far in these playoffs. Like it's no slander to Carolina's D either. Like I do like their D core. I just think Florida's what you've seen from them in the playoffs. It's been phenomenal. Even last night, like Mikkola, he steps up in the rush, slides the puck over. He's part of a goal, right?
Yeah, dude, he's actually a guy that's been pretty money. I can't lie. I think Mikkel has been really good, and he's kind of been playing this top four role this past year and a half too, right? That he's more of a bottom pairing guy for a while, but I mean, he's huge. He actually skates decent too, right? I mean, the more you talk about it, I feel like I'm swayed a bit more to Florida's D. Um, I don't know what it is. Carolina, I just love their depth on D. To be quite honest with you. Um, and I don't know if you agree, but I think they have the best actual defenseman in this series in Slavin. As much as I love Forsling too, but yeah, I mean, if anything, it's pretty close. I mean, I could see you kind of swaying either way, but I think once you get up front, like it's not even a question who is the better offense. It's obviously Florida. Um, I think that they basically have three forwards that are probably better than Carolina's best forward.
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong to say that? Like, I'd say Barkov, Kachuk, Reinhart are all better than Aho,
Yeah.
right? Um, Not that Carolina doesn't have like some depth on forward, but they still don't really have a second line center. Like, dude, Lundell would easily be the second line center on Carolina, and
Yeah.
he's the third line center on the Panthers. Like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, as much as I love like I think that Will Carrier, Martinook, Jordan Stahl is like a defensive shutdown, really good bottom six like line. But when you're looking at it across and you're looking at Jordan Stahl, Martinook, and Carrier going against Brad Marchand, Luisterainen, and Lundell, it's like as much as those guys are good defensively, like a couple of those guys on Florida are also good defensively. Plus they've been chipping in a ton offensively.
Dude, I'm gonna be
like
honest.
Luosterainen might be having the most underrated playoffs that I've seen.
Like even looking at Florida's fourth line, like I'm gonna be honest, dude, I might even take Florida's fourth line over Carolina's third line at this point. The way
Well, it's
that
Gadjevich, Nosek, and who?
Greer,
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna be
they,
honest, dude. I really like AJ Greer. I think he's a good player.
dude, they've been playing pretty well recently, and hey, Greer had another goal last night too. Like they're getting on the score sheet as well, right? So,
Did
I
you see this in him when he was in Calgary, or
fuck
not
no.
really?
He was a guy that's like he was a guy that's like fourth line, bottom six, healthy scratched at points. But then again, like he that's also him playing in Calgary, right? Like that's not the same kind of culture and team. Like I'm not trying to rip my
Makes
Flames
sense.
here, but when you
No, it makes sense, dude. It's not
yeah,
you're not ripping them.
even Nosek, right? Like Nosek was a guy at points where he's kind of been up and down. He goes to Florida and
Yeah,
yeah, he's still kind of been in and out of the lineup here in the playoffs, but when he is in, man, he's looked pretty effective here. I'm with you, dude. I think this Florida team, they're just so much of a wagon, dude. They come at you in waves. All four lines, all four lines are effective. There's not one player on this team that's a passenger, right? Like you heard Austin Matthews say that in his press conference about Game 7. He said they had a lot of passengers on for Game 7, right? You look at this
yeah, we'll
Florida
get
team,
to that.
dude. There's not one player that's a passenger on this Florida team. I got them beating the Hurricanes in 6 games. Honestly, after what I saw last night, it kind of changes my opinion a little bit here, but I'm gonna stay faithful to where I was before this series. I got Florida winning in 6 games. How about yourself?
Okay. I've got Florida in 5. I think at this point, I honestly thought, and I still think that I think the only game Carolina is going to win is Game 2. And I think Florida might go home and win both, and then potentially close it out in Game 5 on the road. Um, I just think that it has nothing to do with Carolina not being a good team. I think it has all to do with the matchup, and I just think Florida does not match up well against. Sorry, I don't think Carolina matches up well against Florida. It's not taking anything away from Carolina, but I think it kind of shows that. Look, they're a great team, Carolina, but I think if they want to get over this edge, they're going to have to change something up. And I know they tried to this year with Rantanen. Like, let's not pretend like they're not trying, right? Like,
Yeah,
but just because you're trying doesn't mean that it's going to work, right? So I think that the one thing that you can be optimistic about as a Canes fan, if the series doesn't work out, is like that your management is trying to make this work. Like
yeah,
they're not just like fuck it, we're not going to pay a superstar. We don't want to give a guy 13 million. Like that's not the case. You tried, it didn't work. You got a pretty good player in return, dude. They also have a ton of cap space this summer, so who knows what they tried to do? Maybe they try to bring in Marner. I don't know. Like
yep,
who knows, right? Like maybe Marner plays better with like a man-on-man system, and it helps them thrive more in the playoffs. Like I don't really know. I know I'm kind of talking about them like they're dead already, and I just kind of think that it's hard to come back from. I think if they really wanted to win this series, dude, they would have had to win yesterday. To be honest with you, I think just playing catch up against Florida is like one of the worst situations you can be in.
yeah. I completely agree with you, dude. I think it's gonna be tough for Carolina going forward here in this series. Looking out at the West, we also have a rematch from last season where the Edmonton Oilers are playing the Dallas Stars. Last season, the Oilers got past the Stars in 6 games. Game 1, it's tonight. Mark, what is your sort of series prediction over here in the West?
Oh man, I think that this series is putting my mind in a pretzel right now.
Yeah,
In the sense of like, all right, we're getting a rematch from last year. Um, Last year's series was pretty low scoring for the most part, with two teams that can score a lot, but two teams that can also play defense at the same time. Like
yeah,
last year, Stuart Skinner's best stretch of hockey, maybe in his career, was against the Dallas Stars in the conference finals last year. 6 games, 922 save percentage. Jake Ottinger, 6 games, 903. Not bad. Just
Yeah.
not good enough to, not better than 922, right? I think that this series, dude, could be like an all-time fucking series, in my opinion. I think that we're gonna look back on this, and I'm just so curious to see. I'm more curious to see, like, is this gonna be a series where they're trying to outscore each other, or is this gonna be that, like, kind of like last year where they're starting to defend a lot? There's not a lot of goals. You know what I mean? You could argue both teams are almost better than they were last year.
Yep.
What's the difference with Dallas? Okay, they don't have Chris Tanev. They don't have Stankoven. Well, they got Mikko Rantanen.
And the other
They
thing
got
too
Granlund.
is Thomas Harley has also taken a massive step to where
Yeah,
he was at
100%.
last year.
Thomas Harley's taken a step. You look at Edmonton. The one thing with Edmonton is their depth has been incredible this year.
Yep.
Did you see the stat of McDavid and Draisaitl goal, like percentage of goals scored, percentage of goals that they've been in on with a point? Have you seen the difference, dude? So in the
No.
regular season, they were factored in, I think, on somewhere between 34 to 38% of goals. You know how many they factored in on the playoffs? 19%. Sorry, I should have let you guess there. Last year in the playoffs, they were around the same as they were in the regular season this year. I think it was even closer to 40% in the playoffs. So my thing at the end of this, the way I look at this is I think Edmonton is going to win this series. The reason I think that is I think that McDavid and Draisaitl have been playing this really solid two-way game, which they can probably continue to play, but they haven't came out and kind of made this spark offensively yet. They haven't been bad at all. They've been really good. But if you're looking at their stats compared to last year, they were better last year in accordance to scoring. I think that they might be able to come out of their shell a little bit. I also think that Edmonton's depth is going to help them a ton if they do get shut down. And when I'm looking at the other side with Dallas, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. When I was looking more into the numbers, Dallas's depth has not been that good this playoffs. Like honestly, like at all.
Yeah.
Like outside of Mikko Rantanen and like Harley and Hintz and Johnson, like Granlund. Okay, Granlund had a hat trick one game. Well, dude, he's got 4 goals in 13 games. Like
Duchesne,
3 of those
I
were in
don't
one
think
game.
has a goal yet.
Duchesne's got 5 assists. Seguin's got 5 points. Dadonov's got 4 points. So does Marchment. Ben's got 3 points. Jason Robertson's got 1 assist in 6 games. I don't think Dallas's depth has been very good. Listen, if Edmonton kind of goes back to their ways of not playing good defense, shit goaltending, maybe this can all change.
Yeah.
But of what I've seen recently, I think that Edmonton, I think it's going to be a close series, but I think at the end of the day, Edmonton's going to get them. And because of the Game 7 factor with Pete DeBoer, I think Edmonton's going to have to end this in 6 games like they did last year, and that's what I got.
See, I went with Edmonton in 7 games, dude. I think it's going to be a bit of a closer series than last year. The one big thing for the Oilers is you don't have Ekholm this year, right? That's like you mentioned the sort of
Could be
defensive,
back by Game 4, I heard, but we'll see.
could be.
You
but
can
even if
kind of
he comes
tread
back,
water until then.
it's like that's going to be a beat up Ekholm, even if he is coming back, right? Like I'm not saying that's a mass like I'm not saying that's a huge issue and it's the deciding factor for me, but I think that does sort of hurt Edmonton a little bit. But for me, when I look at the Oilers, they've kind of shown throughout the second half of the LA series and then this Vegas series that, hey man, they can win however the fuck they need to win. If they need to win a 6-5 game, they can win that game. If they need to win a 2-0 game where Stuart Skinner is giving them the saves to win, they can win that. They can win that game too, right? I think you've also seen from them their depth, as you said, it has been good, dude. It has been good. And I'm with you, man. When I look at the depth of the Oilers compared to Dallas, I'd take the depth of the Oilers 7 times out of 7. when you got Trent Frederick, like I know you did not really like that Trent Frederick trade, but I think he's looked pretty good here in the playoffs. When you got Trent Frederick on your fourth line, that's a pretty good fit right there going up against Dallas. I think you look at Evander Kane, Connor Brown. Connor Brown, he's looked phenomenal.
Oh, I know.
Like
I
I,
know.
I don't know what it is with him, but he looks like McDavid's twin brother out there at points. Um, I think the other thing too that we're gonna see is I think the Oilers they got a little bit more grit to them than the Stars. I think we're kind of gonna see that here. I think Corey Perry he's gonna be out there being an absolute fucking rat, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
one area that does kind of scare me a little bit though with Dallas is Jake Ottinger. He's looked good. He's looked good in these
Yeah.
playoffs, man. He just outdueled the best goalie in the NHL, the back-to-back Vezina winner, the guy that could win the Hart this year, right? Like Jake Ottinger's looked very well, and I do think if the Dallas Stars are going to win this series, Jake Ottinger is going to need to steal at least 2 games.
Yeah, without a doubt, dude.
Is that possible? Like, man, the way he's been playing, I think it's possible. But at the end of the day, I think the Oilers are going to get to him. They're the top dogs. McDavid, Nuge, Draisaitl, those guys are going to show out here for round two. I got a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup Finals with the Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers facing off. I got Oilers in 7 here, dude. I I got my faith.
Oh, so you got DeBoer streak done this year. Game
Yep.
seven. He's 9-0 right now in game sevens, which is incredible, dude. Incredible stat.
Can't go on forever, dude.
No, I know. And I saw also this year too, Paul Maurice now, since he won against the Leafs, he's 6-0 in game sevens. So
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that I can't lie to you. I'm more pumped for this series than the Carolina Florida one, just because I actually think the
Easily.
Florida one is pretty lopsided in my opinion. I just think Florida matches up really well against them. Um, but I think that Edmonton's rolling right now, dude. I think that they're in a really good spot where you honestly don't even need your best guys to like be playing at their best to win, which is a good thing, right? And it's like
Yep.
at the same time, you know how capable they are of doing that, like of turning it on, right? If like say the depth does dry up the first couple games against the Stars, right? Like you've got the big guys there. You've got guys that have been playing consistent hockey. I've been loving the way Corey Perry's been playing, dude. It's fucking crazy that like, and I actually agree with it. Like I've never seen a fan base so adamant to re-sign a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
But like I would too. I would the way he's fucking playing. I loved him in Montreal, dude. I think he was a huge part of our run to the Stanley Cup in 2021. He scored some big fucking goals, dude. And you know what? He'd been there before. He's been to 5 Cup Finals. Like this guy's a machine, dude. Like I actually think that I don't want to say nowhere close, but right now, dude, I don't think Corey Perry's anywhere close to retiring. I don't at all. I could see him playing until he's like 43. As long
Yeah,
as
I
he can
could see that.
skate, and I know he's not fast, but I don't think he needs to be. I think the teams know what he is at this point. He had 19 goals this year, dude.
I think Corey Perry's a prime example of how you adjust your game and how you tweak your game and adapt to be able to have a longer career, right? Like Corey Perry, yeah, he always kind of had that ratty side to him, man. But Corey Perry used to get paid what he got paid because he was one of the best players there for a period of time in hockey, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a reason Corey Perry's still in the league, and it's because the guy's adapted his game to be able to provide what teams need and be able to provide a part of the game that a lot of players won't go out there and do, right? Like Corey Perry's, you look and anytime Corey Perry's on the ice after whistle, you know there's going to be some sort of a scrum. You know he's going to be mixing it up in there, right? Like
Oh yeah.
if I was the Oilers, I would love to be re-signing Corey Perry in the offseason. The only thing that I'm looking at is, dude, how many fucking teams do you think would be interested in signing him? Like, I think there'd be a fair bit of
Yeah,
teams.
I wonder if he just loves where he's at, though. You know,
Yeah,
after all that shit happened with the Hawks and went to Edmonton, re-signed with them this year. He's got a family, right? Like he's also a
yep.
Canadian guy. Like, dude, he's been playing with McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, if you're looking at it from his perspective, it's like, what better of a situation do you want to be in? Like, You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're going to the fucking cup. Like I don't know, man. If I were him, I'd probably just take a 1-by-1 again and fucking play. Like I don't know. He's apparently he's super into like mobility and like flexibility as well, which probably helps him a ton, especially at his age. Like
Yeah.
apparently he's there stretching like for an hour before practice, like before he even gets dressed, which I mean, it's probably what you got to do at this point in your career to make sure your body's good, but he still cares, right? Like, dude, apparently he's like optional morning skates. He's basically there every fucking time. Like, guy just loves the game. You know what I mean? And like, he's adapted well, but I also felt like even his style back in the day, like, yeah, he was scoring what 50 goals before, but like it was you could see like his style. It's like he probably won't be done by the time he's like 34, right? Like
Yeah.
he's got that grittiness. He's still effective even though he's slow. Like I don't know, man. I love the guy. I hope he comes back. I hope this isn't it. I don't think it is it at all for him, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem like he's slowing down at all, but I guess we'll see here.
It's definitely going to be a good series, man. I got my eyes all over this one compared to the Eastern one. I'm going to be fucking tuned in for it tonight. Mark, seems like we both got a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals from last year, though. So that's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know the last time we had an absolute rematch was.
I think I saw it was 08 and 09 with Pitt and Detroit.
Pitt and Detroit, yeah.
Was the last time we've had the actual rematch. I think there was a couple times where we may have been pretty close. I was thinking maybe one year with Chicago since then, when it was like Chicago, LA going back and forth. But I might even be wrong about that because I don't really know who the Eastern opponent was. But
A couple of the Tampa
yeah,
years,
dude.
I feel we've been close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Islanders almost made it a couple times too then. But dude, I don't know. Like, if some people don't want to see the same teams, like, how do you feel about that? I actually don't mind it. I feel like if it was like repetitive, like where it's like 5+ years in a row, I'd probably get sick of
Yeah,
it. But I mean, I can't lie to you that like I've almost been like I don't even like Tampa, but I kind of wanted them to get the 3 in a row because the thing is, it's like we could argue we've seen a dynasty in Chicago like
I
in
think
our
without a doubt.
lifetime, but I mean, that's kind of it, no? I don't think LA's a dynasty 2 and 3 years. Like they haven't even made the fucking second round since then.
LA, no. Pittsburgh, yes.
You think 2 and 2 is a dynasty though?
2-2 is a dynasty. It's a dynasty.
So then you consider Tampa 1-2 then.
Yeah, yeah. For me,
Okay.
the reason Pitt's a
I feel
dynasty is because it's 2-2, and there's and like the core was mostly the same, right? Like it's different if it's completely different core, but like for the most part, the core is the same, right?
no, that makes sense. I guess I've always just kind of thought as 3 is the number, but I mean, back to back is hard to do, right?
They
Like
went
fuck,
back
let's
to
see if Florida can do it this year. I don't know.
they went back to back. They got one earlier the second year against Detroit, right? Like I don't know. I'd say that's a dynasty.
The
Like
Pitt one?
yeah, like at the end of the day,
No,
like
no, no. I'm like, well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like 15, 16 when they actually won back to back. Like 08, 09, they lost one, right? So did Detroit.
yeah. I just more
They
look at it
beat
as
the Sharks and the Preds when they won.
see the way I'm more looking at it for Pitt is that within the span of 10 years, you went to 4 Stanley Cup Finals and you won 3 of them. Like I think if you look at it kind of
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
if you look at it that way, and then you add on that the second and third cup was a back to back, I think when you look at it that way, like in this modern era, that's as close to a dynasty as you can get, right? Like even with Tampa, like Tampa, I think maybe you can argue they're a dynasty, maybe they're not a dynasty, but like, does it really get does it really get that much better with them, right? Like I think nowadays we're not going to see Detroit back in the 90s and 2000s. Like I don't think we're going to see that anymore. With the
No,
way,
or like the Islanders in the 80s or
yeah,
whatever, or the Oilers, right? Yeah, I think we're almost going to have to relook at the way Like, I mean, I don't mind calling that a dynasty. I just think people back in the day might be like, that's not a fucking dynasty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 2 cups, like the Islanders won 4 in a row. But I just think that we're not really going to see that anymore, to be honest. And I think that it's just like we're going to have to, or at least those people that aren't accepting it are just going to have to
Yeah.
accept that, like, that's a dynasty now. You know what I mean?
But for me, I look at it, it's like, man, like it's different rules, right? Like the CBA is completely different. Players get paid completely fucking different money that
It's
they
also
got
a different
paid
number of
back
teams,
then.
dude.
There's a different
Like there
number
was
of
like
teams.
fucking 20 teams. Like I'm sorry, that's different on winning the cup, right? Like you have to battle 32 fucking teams. Like playoffs are shorter too. Like
Like
there's a lot of factors that go into it.
just for shits and giggles here, I'm looking at what would you say the best Oilers team was that won the cup with Gretzky?
See, how do you define that? Are you saying it more on like roster construction or like the like least amount of games lost in the playoffs? Like how are you looking at that?
I'd more say roster construction.
God, the problem is it's like I just don't know the difference in year to year. Like, okay, the Islanders won the cup. Was it 79 to 83 or 80 to 83?
Sorry, what years?
When did the Islanders win? Was it 80 to 83? Because they won 4 straight. And the fourth one was when I think
It was
Messier and like Gretzky played them for the first time in the finals and they got swept.
it was 80 to 83.
Okay, so then the Oilers started winning after that. I don't know. I'm gonna guess. I don't even know if they won the cup. 87. Did they even win the cup that year?
Let's take a look.
Because I know the Habs won it in 86.
They won in 84, 85, 87, 88, and then 90.
Yeah. Okay. Because, yeah, 86 was Montreal. 89 was Calgary. I don't know. I'm guessing 87. Was that the best team?
It probably would have been 87 because I forgot that Gretzky was gone
Let's
for the
go.
91, right?
Yeah. They won one without him.
So 1987 is definitely going to be probably their best roster. But I just want to compare like this roster to a roster nowadays, right? So you got Gretzky, Hall of Famer, Messier, Hall of Famer, Curry, Hall of Famer, Kevin Lowe. I'm pretty sure he's in the Hall. No,
I think so. At least as a builder, but I mean, he's probably pretty close as a player, too.
Grant Fuhr, he's in the Hall.
Shouldn't be, but yeah.
Get the fuck out of here with that. And then trying to think of the other players that they had. They would have had.
But I mean, even
They would
just
have
you
had
saying
Coffee,
that.
but you would have had Coffee at one point, right?
Right. So I mean,
It's
if
like
we're comparing this, like, okay, and like Bouchard to Coffee. I mean, Coffee's better, but Bouchard's up there. Like, I'm not saying Bouchard's a Hall of Famer right now, but I'm sorry if he keeps doing what he's doing, he probably is. To be honest with you, um, you talk about Gretzky and Messier. Do you not look at that as very comparable to Draisaitl and McDavid? Because I do. It's like the best
yeah,
player of the generation with like one of the other best players of the generation, you know? But then after that, it's like, then what? Like, Kevin Lowe is better than Zach Hyman or Ryan Nugent Hopkins, no?
yeah, I'd say so.
And as much as I don't like Grant Fuhrer, like, he had a way bigger impact than fucking Skinner or Calvin Pickard. Like,
S-
you know what I mean?
See, more just what I was looking at here is that okay, when the Oilers had their dynasty and they went on those cup wins, what was their core? It was Gretzky. This is the core players that are all in the Hall of Fame now, right now.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky, Kevin Lowe, Mark Messier, Glenn Anderson, Paul Coffey, Yari Curry, Grant Fuhr. That's
That's a lot of P players.
7 Hall of Famers. It's 7 Hall of Famers. In today's day and age, you're never going to see a team have 7 Hall of Famers. And all those
Dude,
players were
that's a lot.
all those players were like relatively in their prime too, right? It's not like you got like a washed up Yari Curry who's like 40 years old, right?
Oh no, and a great comparison is it's not Corey Perry. Like
Yeah,
he's a
like it's
Hall
not
of
like a
Famer, but he's not in
yeah.
his prime, right? Man, that's fucking crazy. Like what team even now would you say is the most Hall of Famers?
Florida
Like
maybe?
Pittsburgh, but like they're not in their prime.
Okay, in Pittsburgh. Okay, let's say Pittsburgh. How many Hall of Famers do you have from them? You have
Crosby, Malkin, Letang. Honestly, I can't lie to you. I think Erik Karlsson's probably a Hall of Famer.
he's not part of their dynasty though. I'm like if you were to look at Pittsburgh's dynasty that we're talking about, right? Like who's the Hall of Famers from their dynasty? I think
I don't
I
think
think
Phil Kessel's a Hall of Famer.
I think even if you're counting Phil Kessel, at best they got 5. Like Fleury, Crosby, Malkin,
Eh.
Letang, and Phil. Like at best they got 5. If we're being generous, right? I just think if you're comparing dynasties nowadays to back then, it's like, man, like you don't have the same. You don't you can't build as good of teams like you could build back then, where you have 7 Hall of Famers on a team, or it's like, man, like at best nowadays you're gonna have like 3, maybe if you get lucky, 4 Hall of Famers on a team, and your window's maybe 5 years, right? Like you're not gonna be going on these 5 cups through 10 years type of runs like you were able to do in the 90s and the 80s. That's my whole thing. I just think dynasty, you kind of got to judge dynasties a bit different nowadays.
I have a question for you that might, I don't know if this would change your opinion really, or maybe like open it up a bit. Could you see more dynasties or at least more repetitiveness with teams winning or going to the finals like we've seen recently with if the cap just keeps increasing the way it is? Because I'd argue like, okay, like Pittsburgh and Tampa and kind of got fucked a bit with the cap not really moving.
Yeah.
So it's like you build this great team, you make these trades, you bring in Blake Coleman, you bring in Barclay Goodrow. I mean, they were able to bring in David Savard, the trade deadline Tampa. They had Shattenkirk one year after he got bought out. They were able to get him on a cheap deal. Like with the cap going up somewhat $8 to $9 million a year. Do you think we could see a team like Florida where it's like they've got their core locked in? But one thing that's different about this too, dude, is like people don't realize like Florida's core is like 30 and under.
Yeah. For the most part.
Like I don't think that like say they don't end up repeating this year. Like I don't think they're like dead at all.
I don't think they're
Like
dead
I think they
either,
can
but
compete for a couple years at least.
they do have a lot of money to spend though this offseason.
That's the thing. It's the thing is though is how they spend to replace parts of their roster, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, would you not be optimistic about that as a Panthers fan when you look at it from last year? Okay, we look at last year. We have this great team. We win the cup. We lose OEL. We lose Montour. We've basically lost our entire fourth line with Lorenz is gone. Okposo's gone. I don't even know if they re-signed anyone really from their depth. And
I'm
then you're able to come in.
Pretty sure Lundell re-signed last year. RFA.
Lundell. Yep. My thing is like, do you not feel confident that like Bill Zito can come and fill like these depth pieces? You know? And I understand that LTIR helped them a lot, especially at the deadline, being able like, dude, that Seth Jones trade's not happening if they didn't have LTIR. Like
Yeah.
that's just it's not possible. Like money wise, right? I don't know, dude. I think like the lack of assets is definitely a thing with Florida coming up the next couple of years, but you can't tell me players wouldn't want to go there and play there. And like you have a guy like Nate Schmidt. Okay, he gets bought out by Winnipeg. He was making $6 million. He goes to now he's making $800K. He still gets paid by Winnipeg, and it's
Yep.
like as much as I don't think Nate Schmidt is great, he's better than an $800,000 player. Like he's probably a $2 to $2.5 million player, right? He's probably a solid number 5 defenseman that could probably go in your top 4 and look in place, right? So it's like as long as I think Florida can probably get away with like filling these holes. And the thing is, it's like they do have Marchand, this free agent this year. They've got Ekblad. They've got Bennett. They don't got a ton of cap space. I'm going to be honest with you. I think at most 2 of those 3 guys are coming back. I don't think all 3 of them are, but it's like even if you do lose an Ekblad, it's like, yeah, you're probably not as good roster-wise, but I just think that you might be able to fill the holes of like a player like that and still be competitive for a couple of years. Not saying that I think they're going to win every cup until 2030, but it's like I could see this team competitive until like Barkov, Kachuk, Reinhart are like mid-30s and like maybe are just taking a step back.
I agree with you there.
When I look at Tampa now, it's like, oh shit, Kucherov's fucking 31, Hedman's like 34, Vasi's like 31. Like they're still great players, but it's like the last 3 years is making me think like these guys are kind of old and aging, and they can't do exactly what they're doing in the playoffs like they did 3 years ago.
See, I kind of agree with you. Part of me though does feel though that I think Florida's window is maybe another 3 years after this.
I mean, that's fair though.
And the thing too is like maybe they do kind of turn into a Tampa, because like let's be real, at the time Tampa we were kind of talking about them like, oh man, like this team is like 5 years potentially. I mean, like their window still is open right now. Like they still could win a cup, but I just think when you look at some of the other talent around the East, it's not this same team that they were 2, 3, 4, however many years ago, right? I think we could maybe see that with a Florida, right? Like you said, at best, 2 of those guys are coming back. Honestly, I'd even be surprised if 2 of them come back. I think you're most likely only going to be able to get 1 back. If you are getting 2 back, it's probably either Ekblad or Bennett, and then Marchand's the other, right? Like you're not getting both Ekblad and Bennett coming back. That's for sure.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I think they still could, they still would be set up for success, but I just think depending on how they fill it, like it would be taking a step back, right? That's just my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I just think that the ability of the cap going up will at least make them competitive for like at least a couple more years than what they were, what you thought they could be maybe going into this season, like thinking, oh fuck, like this might be Florida's like one of their last chances, like really to win or whatever. But I just think that even if you look at it, like I don't know, like we could even be saying different in 3 years, dude. With like Kachuk's already signed long term. Say they re-signed Bennett. Barkov's back. Like we could be talking in 3 years, like the cap's $25 million higher. And it's like you might be able to go out and get another difference maker if you've got all of these roles filled already, right? And it's going to really matter how they attack their depth as well. Are they able to get guys for $1 million, less than $1 million? Or how is that really going to work exactly, right? But I'll be honest, I just think Florida is in a good situation right now, at least for a couple of years. And I think that I'd be shocked if they weren't a contender until like 2028.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
But the roster could get worse. Like that, there's no denying it, right? Like I'd even argue their roster, maybe not right now, but going into the season, it was worse than it was when they won the Cup.
Yeah,
right?
You look at
like no Ekblad, or sorry, no OEL, no Montour. Like you just got Seth Jones, right? Like
same with Marchand.
Yeah, you just got Marchand. Yeah. Like I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think Florida's in a pretty good spot going forward.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting here in these conference finals. I'm praying we get that Oilers Panthers rematch. I'd love to see it. I think last year might have been one of the better Stanley Cup Finals we've had recently. So hopefully we do get to see that. Overall, though, that's going to wrap up the preview episode here for the conference finals. For everybody tuning in, thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned next week for an update on the conference finals.